Hello, I'm Sarah Oliver.
And I am Emina Ferlak, and as Interfaith Dialogue practitioners, we would like to share with you our 10 tips on designing and facilitating interfaith dialogue in your own community.
The main purpose of an interfaith dialogue is to create a space where your participants feel safe, are fully engaged, and are open to listening and learning from one another. So with that, here's our first tip.
Know as much as you can about your participants and their context.
Who are they? What age, gender, social identities will be present in the room? What level of experience do they have? What are the main challenges that are faced by your community? What are their preferred learning styles? All of these kinds of questions will help you to design an interfaith dialogue that allows participants to feel comfortable and also makes sure that the dialogue is relevant to the life experiences of the group.
Number 2, have a clear purpose. Know your goal and the outcome you would like to achieve after your dialogue activity. Maybe you would like to organize an activity in a space where people can meet and learn about each other, or maybe you would like to address a burning issue in your own community, but you want to do it from the interfaith perspective.
But make sure that your purpose is based on the needs of your community. Have you asked them what they want? This is where tip number 3 comes in. It is best to have local facilitators who know and understand the context of the community. This means there's already a starting level of trust with the group.
Take time to get to know one another as a facilitator team, so if things go wrong, you will be able to work them through together.
Tip number 4. For a successful interfaith dialogue, it is important to ensure the presence of minority groups. Ask yourself, is everybody who needs to be in the room invited? What voices might be missing, and how can you invite them?
Think of the diverse religious groups in your community and organize your initiatives relying on a rights-based approach. This means that we enter dialogue as equal partners without patronizing or imposing one religion over the other. So this also leads us to our tip number 5, which is inclusivity. Make sure that your dialogue initiative is as inclusive as possible. Have you included women and youth voices in your initiative? Can you foster space for intergenerational dialogue, where the wisdom of the elders will be heard and appreciated, but also fresh ideas and wisdom of youth will be really heard and taken seriously?
Are there language barriers you need to be aware of? Do you need to provide interpretation or sign language? Also, make sure that access to the space and the kinds of activities that you do are appropriate for people living with disabilities.
Tip number 6, setting up a safe space.
Once your participants have arrived and you've opened the space with an introduction, icebreaker, perhaps a grounding meditation, it's important to come to an agreement on some guiding principles to start your dialogue.
Many resources available online on the principles of dialogue, but the best thing is that you and your participants are co-creating sort of a learning agreement with the rules that you all would like to be respected while working together.
Tip number 7, understand the different kinds of interfaith dialogue.
IRD comes in different forms. Sometimes it can be diplomatic dialogue among religious leaders and representatives of the communities, and sometimes dialogue of action, where we are addressing burning issues in your own community together.
Sometimes it can be a non-formal dialogue of life, sometimes a theological exchange where participants discuss theological matters, or it can be a spiritual dialogue where participants come together to pray for common things or share a joint spiritual experience. All of these forms depend on the context, and that leads us to our next tip.
Context matters. Knowing your context will help you to understand what kind of dialogue people are willing to engage with. So think of your context, think what could work the best and how.
Tip number 9 is about methodology. You may wish to keep your dialogue really simple by having a set of guiding questions and inviting rounds of responses from your group.
Or there are other methodologies you might use, such as World Cafe, fishbowl discussion, scriptural reasoning, or dialogo game to make dialogue more interactive. And finally, tip number 10. As a facilitator, model the kind of dialogue you hope to create.
This means practicing empathy, deep listening, curiosity, and being open to adapt and change as your group goes deeper into the dialogue.
If you expect people to follow the learning agreement you all created together, to treat each other with respect, and to follow the dialogue principles, make sure you're doing the same. You all carry responsibility for the dialogue process, but as a facilitator, you carry extra responsibility of modeling it.
We hope this quick video was helpful. There are a lot more resources available from organizations such as URI, the United Religions Initiative, Religions for Peace, CAICID, and of course the Network for Religious and Traditional Peacemakers. Thanks so much.